The boy is back with new books and a plaster on his thumb. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Oobleting ASMR. I am the aforementioned Oob, and I have some new books. And also, I just wanted to have a nice casual chat because I'm returning from a short hiatus. It was like a month more than maybe. So yeah, I came back from my parents' house. It was my father's birthday over on Thursday, the 24th. It's Sunday when I'm recording this, the 27th. And I delved into the back room and found some more cool books from my grandparents' collection, which I will now add to my own and show to all of you beautiful people. And yeah, I'll be also just casually chatting because I haven't done this in a while and I really miss it actually. Yeah, I guess let's start. I'll sprinkle in some other things I want to talk about. Hopefully my cleavage doesn't show too much, my breasts don't show. I know that's probably not safe for YouTube. But I didn't want to put anything on under this because it's already quite warm. But yeah, if I slip, I'm sorry. But anyway, so first off we have the Confessions of Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I do not know anything about this, but I do feel like I've read the name Jean-Jacques Rousseau somewhere before. I did search this on Wikipedia because I was curious, and turns out it is sort of an autobiography of this writer who has many other great works, obviously none of which I've heard of or read really. But it's sort of interesting because this type of autobiography became the inspiration for works such as, this is according to the Wikipedia page because I'm a very deep researcher, became sort of an inspiration for books like The Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, The Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, sorry, I'm a bit rusty, which I actually have somewhere on my bookshelf. I haven't finished it, I'm like halfway through or something. I should finish it soon, but anyways, I've said that about every book that I own. But yeah, The Confessions of Jean-Jacques Rousseau. This is just a cover. Here's the book. What annoys me so much is that the writing is the wrong way around on the spine. And obviously I display my books, display them like, I'll mute that. I display my books on the side. So for example, let's just take this one. As you can see, William Blake over here makes sense because if you turn your head, it reads from left to right properly, but this one's the other way around. I have one other book. It's like that. I can't find it right now. I have like a collection of E.M. Forster short stories that is also like this, the wrong way around, but anyways, I'll deal with it. I guess it's sort of interesting. Gives a little bit of a change when you look at the books on the bookshelf, but anyways, The Confessions of Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Yeah, this belonged to my grandfather. His name is signed here. Very cool. I did get a chance to repair most of these. So, for example, I just like to add some reinforcement tape, sellotape is what we call it, to the insides. If I can see they're sort of starting to fall apart, just to sort of preemptively prevent such a thing from happening. But yeah, The Confessions of Jean-Jacques Rousseau. One thing I wanted to talk about is that I've lost 3 subscribers since my last video, which is fine. I respect those people because they subscribe to me because they like my videos, I assume. And I'm not putting out videos, so unsubscribe, of course. If you at any point feel unsatisfied, unsubscribe. That's your right. But I just thought it was interesting because, I mean, they are very proactive, because what I do is I would unsubscribe if a person's putting out videos and I'm like, hey, if I see like their videos in my feed of a channel that I'm subscribed to, and I'm just like, hey, I haven't clicked on any of these videos in a long time, I think I've sort of lost interest, and I'll unsubscribe. I have never unsubscribed just because I haven't seen a video from someone. I might check their channel, or I guess when they stop making videos, they sort of escape from my mind, so I forget that I'm even subscribed to them, so I wouldn't think to unsubscribe. But the fact that there are people who unsubscribe because I wasn't making videos makes me think that I don't know, it's just sort of interesting. And as I said, very proactive, like, meaning that they actually keep track of the things that they subscribe to and are like, hey, I haven't seen videos from this guy, whoever that guy is, in a while. So I'm gonna unsubscribe because he's not making videos, which, again, within your rights. If you feel that way, if I'm not making videos for a while and you think, you know what, I'm not gonna subscribe, go for it, unsubscribe if that's what you wish. It's your world, I'm just living in it. That's a joke. That's like from a YouTube video, I'm sure. I can't remember which one. Let's move on to the next book. Very evocative artwork on the cover. Probably that's most definitely the reason why I picked it up. William Blake. It's a collection of poems. Yeah, it looks like poems, and perhaps some short stories from the writer William Blake. The cover shows a detail from The Good and Evil Angel's Struggle for Possession of a Child by William Blake. So a man of quite a few talents, in that he paints as well as writes. Good for him. In the Tate Gallery, London. It is poetry, apparently, which is pretty cool. Introduced and edited by J. Bronowski. I like having books of poetry just because, who does this belong to? I don't think they are like initials signed here, so could have been my grandmother or grandfather, but anyways. I like having books of poetry. I don't read them. I wouldn't like go through a book and like read every poem. I would say like, hey, I feel like reading a poem, and I'll just take out a collection, and I think that's fun. That's the way that I like, usually in the evenings, like once I've winded down, usually when I'm having like a cup of tea or something, I'll be like, you know what, I feel like something. I feel like absorbing some art, and maybe I don't feel like listening to music. Maybe I just want to, have something short, and I'll take out a book of poetry and read something and be like, oh, and, absorb it and, think about it, and that's nice. It's a great way, especially like at the end of the day. It's a great thing to do, so I'm glad that I'll add this to my collection of poems, which I will read sporadically over time. I'll need that. But yeah, William Blake. Ooh, I love this title. Vala, or the Four Zoas. That's great. Great title for, I'm assuming, a short story. But anyways, collection of works by William Blake. There we go. On to the next one. Speaking of that song, on to the next one. Not really, but I really do admire Swiss Beats reworking the sample, because in the sample, which is like a live version of a Justice song, Dance, I'm pretty sure, what they say is "Under the Spotlight," which Swiss Beats then twists and turns into onto the next one. Obviously, it's one of those things where, and this happens a few times in like sampled hip hop, where I think in our minds they are saying onto the next one, whereas if we didn't have the song and Jay-Z and Swiss Beats in the beat saying onto the next one, we wouldn't think that it was them saying onto the next one. It would sound like them saying under the spa, which is what it is. But yeah, I think it's cool how sort of our minds, given this new pattern of on to the next one. Our minds would then make the connection. We're like, oh no, the sample he's saying on to the next one. I think another one is in 30 Hours by Kanye West off of The Life of Pablo, where he says in the original sample, he says baby lion, where the hours go, and it turns into 30 hours because Kanye West says 30 hours, and just in our minds it's sort of, the sample sounds more like that just because we've been exposed to 30 hours rather than where the hours go. But anyways, on to the next one, I guess. King Lear by my boy Willie Shakes. Yeah, again, wrong way around. I'm interested to know if there was, I'm guessing apparently there wasn't any sort of standard of like, hey, your books should like be would be like top to bottom, left to right, you know. I guess there's not a standard, although I would assume that many books printed these days are more the conventional sort of top to bottom, left to right, as opposed to this bottom up type of reading. But yeah, King Lear, another Shakespeare book. This belonged to a high school, but apparently not anymore. There's still the name of the person, the high school student, I'm assuming, who owned this book, and we just had it. My grandparents were both teachers in their lifetimes, so maybe they just decided to take one from school home. So yeah, King Lear. I enjoy some of the works of William Shakespeare. I'd like to read a lot of his plays. Yeah, just another to add to the collection. Yeah, King Lear. I know very little about King Lear, actually. Like, many of them, obviously, like Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Othello, even before you read them, you sort of know what they are just because they're so prominent in pop culture. I've heard of this play King Lear quite a lot. I don't know anything about the plot, which I think is very exciting. Makes for a more exciting read. I mean, I think with Hamlet, I still really enjoyed Hamlet because of just the way that it's written, like the words that are used, but like I already knew the overall plot. Well, firstly because of Lion King, basically. I had heard the whole, Lion King is just Hamlet with lions. Well, Lion King is actually, what's the white lion, what's it called? I can't remember. But there's this Japanese, I think, cartoon. But yeah, you can look into that on your own time. So I sort of knew the overarching story of Hamlet before I actually read the play. But I mean, when I read it, I was still really enjoyed it because the specific things that, like, the way that Hamlet is written, the characters and everything, is still very interesting to me. So it didn't sort of take away from that. But I think going into King Lear, not knowing anything about the story, the plot, is very exciting for me. So looking forward to getting into King Lear soon. Next we have the Great French Revolution, with a very evocative image here of the Statue of Liberty. Not really. Similar imagery to the Statue of Liberty, obviously holding up a chain instead of and this was like some sort of a gardening instrument, a hoe perhaps, I'm not sure. This is actually a collection of lectures, a collection of lectures by like South African people, historians, I'm guessing, about the French Revolution. I just thought it was interesting. Again, evocative cover artwork always gets me. Strong colors, I really like that. What is that? Well, that's out of focus, but that's Jean-Jacques Rousseau, my dude. That's crazy. That's this guy. What? That's so cool. Oh my word. Whoa. I just opened up to a random page and it mentions Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Let's read what it says. Jean-Jacques Rousseau belonged to the idealist school of philosophy. He was a theist, but contributed to the encyclopedia. Rousseau was a petit bourgeois and spoke for the peasants and the class of which he was a member. He led a movement against rationalism and advocated a cult of the return to nature. Well, fuck, dude. Hella cool. We got a little taste of JJR. Wasn't expecting that. Wow. So he was alive during the French Revolution. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a collection of that was insane, dude. That was so cool. The dude, I'm loving this video so far. This is like my favorite video. Maybe I don't know. Just that moment. I'm so glad I came back to this. But yeah, this is a collection of lectures from South African lecturers on the French Revolution, which is kind of interesting. We studied the French Revolution in high school in grade 8, which is the first year of high school in South Africa. And I really enjoyed it. My history teacher was very good, like incredible. And I remember one thing that she did in her class was like at the end of the term, she had this sort of challenge for her class where she would go through everyone and like go through the alphabet. So like the first person would get A, second B, C, D, whatever. And you had to like say something about what we learned about in this situation, the French Revolution, using one of the letters. And I was the unlucky chap who got Z or Z, and I was like, and I only realized when it was getting close to me, like, oh, I'm gonna get Z. What am I gonna say? And then because there are very few. I don't know. And I said, and I was so proud of myself, and I think the teacher was as well. I said, the serfs, which are all like the peasants at the time, were kept like animals in a zoo, and I was very proud of that, and I'll remember that forever now. And now it's immortalized in this video, so wonderful. Next, this is I ramble on we are at like 17 minutes right now. Wow, thank you for watching. I had a thing I was going to say about cuts and scars, because I have this is betadine, by the way. This is like an ointment. This isn't blood. I cut myself when I came back, like within 20 minutes of returning to my apartment after being at my parents' place for the weekend. I'm just going to say it now, I guess, the thing that I wanted to say. I am right now listening to the Slick Rick album Behind Bars, which is his third album. I'm pretty sure came out in 1994. And it's pretty cool. And the first track and the title track is called Behind Bars, and the sort of the refrain that he says for the hook is sort of an instrumental thing, but the sort of refrain he says at the end of each verse is something, sitting here accumulating cuts and scars behind bars, which I think is interesting, because while I was outside the world, because obviously we are in lockdown, so I've just been in my apartment all the time, but this weekend I went out into the world. I actually went out to a restaurant for the first time in months with my parents, and I'm fine, nothing happened to me. But the second I go into my apartment behind bars, it's not like a prison to me. I actually really enjoyed, but I think it's just fun for the sake of this thought. The second I go back into my like behind bars, my little the walls that I occupy for an extended period of time, which I enjoy, by the way. It's not like there's no negative connotation here, but I think I've said that before. I literally just said that like 30 seconds ago. But this, like within 20 minutes of me arriving, I'm starting to accumulate cuts and scars, which I think is pretty interesting. And I was probably I'm not going to say that I was listening to that exact song at the time, but I was listening to the album. But anyways, on to Cider with Rosie. I'll be honest, the reason I picked this up was because I saw Lori Lee, and I thought that was a female writer. And I love to enjoy works from many different people, and I think, it's no like surprise or anything that, especially in terms of these like classic novels, female writers are very underrepresented. Obviously, there are many like the Bronte sisters and Mary Shelley, who have contributed to the sort of classics of literature. But I'm always excited. But many of these books that I find, especially like in the back, these old books are by men. And so I was thinking, hey, this is a book by a woman. That's interesting. I'll pick it up. Turns out Lori Lee is a man, but I picked the book up already. So Cider with Rosie, sort of interesting title. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. I just picked it up. But oh yes, actually the back, the reviews on the back, I think, are what got me into it. Once I realized that Laurie Lee was a dude. No, dude to me is a gender neutral pronoun. That when I realized that Laurie Lee was a male, this poet, whose prose is quick and bright as a snake, a gay, impatient, jaunty, and in parts slightly mocking book. A prose poem that flashes and winks like a prison. That was from H.E. Bates in the Sunday Times. Interesting review, so I thought, you know what, I'll pick it up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I feel about this. The Duchess of Malfi by John Webster. I've heard of this play before. I've heard those words, the Duchess of Malfi, but I know nothing else besides that. I've heard of John Webster before, never really know his work. Also like a cool modern cover. I really like the way that it looks. Very simple, two-toned, you know, or I guess, I don't know. This is my grandmother's. This is pretty new. This is like barely touched. But there are some markings, so it has been read, but not as old as quite a few of the others. Yeah. Apparently it was 40 Rand at some point, which is a pretty good price. But yeah, this is apparently the cover design is a reconstruction of an Elizabethan theatre by C. Walter Hodges. I love that they're always crediting the artists, you know, that's well done to you. Who published this? New Mermaids. Pretty cool name for a publishing house, I must say. Is that the name of the publishing house? Oh, well, it's not. New Mermaids are modern spelling, fully annotated editions of important English plays. So I don't think it's the name of the publishing house. It's just sort of a series, The New Mermaids. Cool name for a series, though. Anyways, The Duchess of Malfi. I know nothing about this. I'm excited to read about it. Or excited to read it, rather. Okay. Two left. We have, speaking of exposing breasts, we have Woman in Love by D.H. Lawrence. I recognize the name. If you remember in the last video, I did mention there was a book there by D.H., my boy D.H., which was called Sons and Lovers. And everything I've read about him says that he's like a very, you know, sort of saucy writer, and I think that's sort of interesting, at least. But yeah, another, adding to my ever-growing collection of D.H. Lawrence. Also, D.H. Lawrence has a great beard. Google him. His beard is incredible. Is it enough to read his novels? I don't know. It's up to you, but for me, it certainly sparks my interest. But yeah, Women in Love. I already have Sons and Lovers. I have not read it yet. I haven't even started, but I don't know. Seems cool. Also, this is complete and unabridged. Yeah, Woman in Love. My boy D.H. Wordsworth Classics. I know nothing about this novel as well, but I'm excited to read it. An analytical study of sexual depravity and an epic of vice were two of the expressions which greeted the publication of Woman in Love, yet Lawrence regarded this novel as his best book, and F.R. Leavis considered it Lawrence's supreme masterpiece. Very interesting. Oh, one of the characters' names is Ursula. I love that. Ursula and Gudrun. Gudrun. Ursula. I love the name Ursula. She's the villain in My Little Mermaid. Yeah, I love the name Ursula. And finally, the coup de grace. I don't know if that's the right. I don't think it's the right term, but you know, whatever. I like being flashy for no reason. We have Keats' poetical works. I did mention before that I just like having poetry, books of poetry around, so I can just go into a random page and read one and let it affect me. But yeah, this is super old. This is most definitely the oldest book that I own, but it has like gold. I think they are actually like gold, at least at the top. It's not just that they're so old and yellowed, because I do see a bit of like a shine. I don't know if you can. But yeah, very beaten up and old. Keats, again, I've heard about him quite a lot. I haven't really read a lot of his work. Maybe I have. I think probably in high school or something I may have encountered a poem of his. Also makes me think of is it Cemetery Gates off of The Queen is Dead, where Morrissey says Keats and Yeats are on your side but Wilde is on mine. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, I cannot fucking wait until Morrissey dies, by the way. Don't you hate it when you think of something cool to say and then you mess it up? Anyways, if you know, you know. Yeah, makes me think of the idea. I was aware of Keats before I listened to that album, that song specifically. But yeah, I mean, based on that, I'm guessing Keats is like this very sort of old, sort of classic writer, and like Wilde is like, Morrissey's like, oh, but you guys like Keats and Yeats, I like Oscar Wilde, I'm cool, I'm Morrissey. But 10 out of 10 Morrissey impression, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, Keats' poetical works. Again, just a book that I'm excited to randomly page to on an evening when I feel like reading some poetry. Ode on Melancholy. I can already tell this is going to be good for me. Ode on Melancholy. Great, wonderful. This bodes well for me. Endymion, another interesting name of a poem. Ooh, Endymion. So it seems like there are some like epic poems in here. Endymion, because it like spans at least like 50-ish pages, which is pretty cool. More than that. But anyways, Keats' poetical works. And dudes, that's it. Those are my new books. My new old books from my grandparents' little library. Thank you all for joining me for this very long video. I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming back to me. Because as I said, I was gone for a while and I'm sorry about that. I just sort of, I don't know. I'm sorry. I forgot and was lazy, frankly. I was lazy, that's it. Like nothing happened. I was just lazy for a few weeks and I did film a video, but I didn't like it. But I didn't end up liking it enough, so yeah. Anyways, I was actually in the same outfit for that video, but I'm liking this one a lot more. I'm having a lot more fun in this one. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I'm glad that I can return. I will post a video every week. I will try to. No, I'm not. I won't try to. I will. So yeah, thank you for watching so much. Yeah. See you in the next video. Yeah. Goodbye.